it was still working. And I took it to the place yesterday and left it there for 4.5 hours. Went back expecting it to be fixed. And he was like, we've never seen anything like this in our whole careers. And we've had this shop for like 15 years. The phone isn't just broken, like as in the screen. Like the screen is actually, I'm just like, get some super glue, mate. Just stick it back in.
This is the Extra 10% podcast, helping you get paid tomorrow for what you do today. Invite John Holowaty and Mark Hudson to join you at the breakfast table, ride with you to work, or just randomly stumble across them in the afternoon. Let's get the extra 10% out of your day.
We are live.
We are recording. So, John, you are struggling with your phone. Tell me about it. What's going on?
Yeah, what a nightmare. So my iPhone got a really bad cracked screen in November when I was in Denmark. So it kept falling. It's happened so many times when I've flown with Emirates, it keeps falling. You know, what happens is the wire, AKA this, plugs in under the seat and up. And then you have it in your seat, and then you forget that it's sat on your lap, or you put it on the side of the armrest, and it just falls down and falls down and falls down. So many times.
When will it ever learn? When will it learn?
When will I learn? And so I got to Denmark, and I was like, cool, get it fixed. 300 euros to get the screen fixed. It was absolutely ridiculous. I couldn't believe that I paid for it. Anyway, on a flight home from Denmark, guess what happened? Different airline. It fell off and cracked straight away, having spent that money on it. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, there's no point getting it fixed again. Just stupidity from me. Even though there's a carry case, a cubby case for it, I just carried on, and over time it slowly got worse and worse and worse, and then it's been dropped again, and then I flew to Dubai and back once since in March. Same thing happened again, and then somehow, some way, the actual screen itself started to come away from the back of the phone.
Right, yeah.
My hand, like almost like this. Probably better to do it that way. So I was like, what do I do? If I actually take it out of the protective case, it'll probably just fall apart and perish. Anyway, I don't know whether it's the heat or what, or just time, but slowly but surely, the pastry has melted and slowly come away from the inner lining has perished. And it's honestly been hanging on like a baby does to an umbilical cord.
Umbilical cord.
Even the phone and the battery, like the main part of the phone and the screen together. And then I've just been like, I've kept pressing it back in. Anyway, I'll get to the end of the story now. The other day I was in the gym, phone in the pocket, dumbbells, lean back,
Slid out,
bam, pops, literally comes away from the phone. So you could detach the front of the screen and the back of the screen and the actual phone.
Two phones at that point.
Two phones. So somehow we still managed to use it. I say we as in me and my hands, and we still managed to use
You've got two personalities and two phones.
Yeah, so it was still working, and I took it to the place yesterday and left it there for 4.5 hours. Went back expecting it to be fixed, and he was like, we've never seen anything like this in our whole careers, and we've had this shop for like 15 years. The phone isn't just broken, like as in the screen. Like the screen is actually, I'm just like, get some super glue, mate. Just stick it back in. And he's like, no, we can't do that because Face ID isn't working. There's a little crack here. The like, I don't know what it's called. Like the water behind it, like that makes up the screen is run. So there's like a watermark throughout the screen. You probably know more about that than me. So I said, well, I need my phone. It's Friday. It's like the last day of the month. I've got people chasing promotions. They need me on WhatsApp, all this kind of stuff. So took the phone home, and he said to me, said, look, if we try and fix this for you, it might never come back. It might be the end of it, and we might lose everything. So you need to back it up. Anyway, last night I was sat there. It kept resetting itself. It clearly wasn't working as well as it should have. And then last night, it was a bit like Leonardo DiCaprio in the Titanic.
Yeah.
You know, where you just keep thinking that he's going to die, and he survives again. It's like, no, he's going to die. No, he's going to survive. He survives and survives. This was that phone. And then last night was literally on the iceberg, and it looked at me, I looked at it, and it just went black, and then it never came back on again. So I've took it down there. I've got an old phone that I've got, an old iPhone, which I'm now just trying to set up at the minute. So I'm moving apartments today. I wanted to get a workout in. I managed to get the workout in. Then I had a call with a new person that's joining the team over in Michigan. So it's just been one of those days. And then I've got to move all my stuff out of this place down to another apartment at the bottom of the hill. So it's like all things are going on. End of the month. I was worried that we weren't going to record this podcast. I just thought, how am I going to fit it in? I've got people coming round in 20 minutes to help me move all my stuff because I haven't got a car. So it's just.
Did you this morning? I guess did you do your setup, like your daily setup as normal? I guess.
No, bro, I couldn't do it. I didn't have time to do it. So this is the first time in a long time that I've not done it. My morning setup. That's maybe a good point, actually. That's maybe one of the reasons that the whole day has just kind of been a spiral. But I've managed to get my workout in. I will do my journaling and my meditation today, but I'm going to do it later when I've just got all this stuff out of the way, because the people that help me move don't know that my phone's broke. So they're probably trying to get hold of me. So my plan this morning was to just get up, get everything organized. I was up early, but I obviously messaged you to say I can't get hold of you on WhatsApp. It's just been one of those things. It's all good. It's not at the end of the world. It's not a big deal. It will all come good, but it's just... and
you have to get a new phone out of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm due an upgrade as well, because June I get an upgrade, but they can't get the phone out to me over here. So I'm going to end up now. I've got the same amount of phones now that I've got bikes. But you know what? The good thing that's come out of it, I've just realised, because I was like debating. He said it'll cost 180 quid if we can get it fixed. So I'm like, wow, I've spent so much money on this bloody phone. Like one in Denmark, now in Tenerife. But I've decided that I'm going to do my live every Sunday night on my Facebook page. I'm now going to be able to do Facebook Live and Instagram Live at the same time, I think. So that's a good point, a good thing that's come from it. So I'm going to start doing that. Say the same thing, but hit more people.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to realize now not a lot of people, but there's so many people that I speak to on Instagram that aren't on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, and not even anymore, just like never have been.
Never been on it, yeah.
Yeah, I remember some of the apprentices. We had a couple of young apprentices work for us a couple of years ago, and we used to bring clients, obviously still do, bring them into the office and like talk to them about, their products. Now, a lot of these business owners that we brought in were maybe late 30s, let's say, and they might own an e-commerce store and stuff like that. And, they were like focused on Facebook, and we were sort of saying like, Instagram is where you need to hit. And like, I remember speaking to one of the lads and saying like, hey, what platform are you on now? Like if you're on social, Instagram, and it was like Snapchat, like they were the two. And I was like, oh, and what about Facebook? It was like, don't even have a Facebook account. He was 18, and that was like two years ago, something like that. And it's just like, yeah, even though there's like 2.something billion people on Facebook, and I can't remember how many are on Insta. I think it's like a billion maybe, but like I like half of those people. I think it's, well, maybe I don't know. I'll have to Google.
How many are on Facebook? 2.4 billion.
2.something billion. Yeah. I'll Google it while we're on here. Facebook user numbers. But anyway, what I was going to say is that you'd think you've like captured the whole market there, like, but they haven't. Like, there's still so many users. And then another layer underneath that is like TikTok now. So if you're like 13 and above, you probably won't even ever go on Instagram either. Like, there's always, and Gary Vee spoke about this for years, is that like, if you want to know as a business owner what's going to happen, like over the next 4 or 5 years, like what's going to be popular, where should you put your energy and stuff. Just look at what a 13-year-old's doing now. Look at what a 15-year-old's doing now, because whatever platform they're on, they're going to be 20 in 5 years' time. They're going to be 22 in 5 years' time. And so they're not going to then, I'll decide to get Facebook now I'm older. No, the platform will grow, if that makes sense. The platform itself will become older. And so, yeah.
I think as well, the same can be said for Zoom. Like I heard there's a 5-minute video about the guy who invented Zoom. I can't remember who it is. I watched it the other night because I've used Zoom since 2015 and it's actually been around since 2011.
Really? 2.6 billion, by the way, is on Facebook. 2.6 billion.
2.6 billion. So Zoom's got 300 million subscribers now. This pandemic has made that guy, I think he's a Chinese guy that lives in America. It's made him a billionaire, right? And I'll have to find the video. Let me see if I can. I know we're probably not allowed to share other people's stuff, are we? I don't know what the rules are on this stuff.
I don't know. But yeah, there are 1 billion people as of 2018. There was 1 billion people on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah. So it's like, it's just that it evolves, doesn't it? It becomes the norm. It's the normal thing, right, of what's going on. So,
yeah, I mean, so what's the plan then? So you said that there's a benefit, obviously, where you can do both of them together because you're reaching out onto Instagram. That makes sense. Do you know what? Actually, just today, I've just ordered a new laptop because I forgot, but the laptop that I have, I bought in 2012. Like, I think that is mental. It's 8 years old, but at the time, I bought like the top spec laptop, and I think it cost me like $2,000 at the time, which 8 years ago was a lot of money for a laptop and stuff. And like, I've just not had to replace it in 8 years. Now, like the keys don't work on the keyboard. The sound's a little bit funny, but I've not like wanted to waste money on that because as a business, I'm thinking, well, money can just go in other places. And I've like totally forgotten about the laptop. And then like, there's some days I don't use it, you know, if I'm on the phone all day, like just speaking or whatever. And I've just realized that I finally got to the point where it's just like, I just need to get a new laptop. But anyway, so I've just ordered one. I guess it comes in like 5 days or something like that. And yeah, I mean, I suppose it will be just a little bit faster and the keys will work all, but like, you know what I mean? It just sounds hilarious. I just never even, and I'll tell you why, is because as we brought employees and stuff into the company, we bought laptops for them. And then like if an employee left or whatever, and then we'd end up like, there'd always be like a spare laptop. And to be fair, I like the way our kind of system works is you can log into any laptop. So like, you don't have to be on your personal one basically. And then, yeah, so I would just pick up another laptop and use it. And then I've my poor old personal laptop's just gone by the wayside. So I finally decided, I guess similar to yourself, once it's kind of like broke, it's like just get a new laptop basically.
Yeah, you've got to do it. It's one of them. We procrastinate on some of this stuff. And by the way, I found it now. Just put in YouTube how Zoom defeated Skype, and it's the rise of CEO Eric Yuan, and he's on Forbes magazine as well. It's just the rise of the new billionaire. So pretty interesting stuff about getting positioned and just waiting for the right time. If you've got a great product, it's just the timing that can sometimes change things.
Yeah,
for you.
And a lot of people, it's like you've got to be prepared to pounce on the opportunities. So like Zoom's just one example of this kind of pandemic and it turning into a positive for them. Is like there'll be loads of other businesses right now that were prepared, not necessarily for coronavirus, but what I mean is that they were prepared that when the market was ready to pounce on their thing en masse, that they were also ready. So from a Zoom perspective, it's like the infrastructure behind it. Like if the users had have started to really increase in March and their servers weren't in place, their customer service wasn't in place properly, like all the things that make a business that isn't just the app itself, you know, like people would have used it. And then if it wasn't quite the smoothest operation, because let's not lie, a lot of people using Zoom is because it's easy and like it just works. I know that's like a bit of an Apple marketing thing, is it just works, but that's what Zoom has. But like, for example, like my mum, if the first time she used it, it had have been like something, it had have like broke or it not quite worked or whatever, she wouldn't have logged in again. So like, that's what they've been good at doing.
Or
Zoom.
what happened with that party app thing. I've never used that, but loads of data got scraped and people became really suspicious of it. And I think they lost millions of subscribers as well with that party app.
So it's things like that is like, it's, well, we've spoke about this before, that all success is, and this is personal success as well as business success, is like opportunity mixed with preparation. So like, we're given opportunities all the time, right? And even Zoom might have had opportunities in the past that it didn't capitalize on. I don't know. But like, we're given opportunities all the time. And the businesses that succeed are the ones who are prepared to take those opportunities, whether that means that...
And improve. I think we're growing crazy. Like, we're 54% up on last month.
Wow.
Right at the minute. And we had a massive growth surge in 2013. I was part of it, and it was great to be there. It was super exciting, but we made loads of mistakes as a leadership team. We made loads of mistakes as a company. We weren't ready for it. We didn't have enough people in the office. So exactly what you're saying happened to us. So the servers broke down. People couldn't get through to the office. There wasn't enough people in the office. People's products were getting delivered late. We ran out of products. Team members weren't getting paid on time because it was just like, no one could foresee this explosion back in 2013, 2014. This time, we are so positioned, like we've dealt with this. We've got remote corporate staff working from home. The servers are big enough now. The product, all right, there's been a slight delay on the product because, again, we couldn't foresee this growth, but we've adapted. It's so much quicker to adapt. It's like, yeah, there's going to be a 7-day delay on your orders. Sorry about that, but you know, it's just gone crazy. Whereas last time, there's going to be a 4-month delay on orders.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine having to fly protein powder from the United States to the UK because we run out. You wouldn't even think about, like, normally it's shipped and made in Switzerland and obviously driven across or whatever in trucks. Imagine having to pay for it to be air freighted over, and it's like, yeah, really valuable.
Would it sit would it sit next to you on the plane with your iPhone, just a bag of protein powder?
It's just mad. I just find it mad. But otherwise, the business would have. So then what happened back in 2013, 2014? We got a bad reputation because people were complaining. I always say, like, you can only sell shit once, right? Our product was amazing, but people thought it was shit.
Well, yeah, it's the process of delivering that product.
The process wasn't good enough, so it didn't work. So I think you may get a second chance. I can't remember who says it. Like, it's okay to mess up the first time or not be ready the first time, but the second time you got to be ready.
Yeah. Otherwise, you don't deserve the progress. Like, as in, like, yeah, like you were saying,
sport. Like you got the. I can't remember who it was. It might have been somebody. It's an old school footballers here that I'm talking about. But Andy Cole was an amazing striker, right? But he was famous for missing a lot of chances as well. He was a great player, but he did miss a lot of chances. He played for Manchester United, who created a lot of chances, so he had a lot more opportunity. But Shearer, when you looked at Alan Shearer's record versus Andy Cole, and I think they asked Glenn Hoddle maybe, or it might have been Kevin Keegan, why is Andy Cole not playing in the team? And he was like, Alan Shearer needs 2 chances to score a goal. Andy Cole needs 5 chances to score a goal. That's the difference. And that is what separates people in sport, in business. They get a second hit. We've got people that are rejoining our business that didn't really make the most of it the first time, that are killing it now. They're like, you know what? I know what I did wrong last time. It's the same with us as a leadership team. It's like, we've got to make some changes in terms of what we did last time. I could do another podcast on all the mistakes that I made personally during our last growth phase. There's no way on earth I'm going to do that again. If I do that again, then I don't deserve to get a second bite of the cherry.
Yeah, fair enough. And I guess that is what it is learning. You can either you can't fail if you take the learnings from it and you sort of progress. But like, if you just appreciate that success is these opportunities that come along, and if you're prepared to take them because you've learned from last time or whatever, then you will be successful. And it's like and preparation could literally be anything. And like, example I always give is, imagine you got your dream job. Imagine you right now, like, I'll use you as an example because you're about to learn Spanish, but like, or you're learning Spanish. She's like, imagine you got your dream job and you were going to get paid like millions every year, and every box was ticked for you as like personally of what you were going to be doing, right? And then the very last box was like, oh, by the way, you got to speak Spanish, like you know that, and it's like, what? You've got every other skill level required. You're in love with the role. It's perfect for you for whatever, you know, all these things are there. And then like, you don't speak Spanish. And it's like, you've been saying for years, I need to learn to speak Spanish or whatever. And it's like, hey, that opportunity was on your lap, but you weren't prepared to take it. Now that's a pretty like obvious example, but like that happens all the time. And how do you become more prepared? Well, you read more books. So then that means that you can understand the world more. You can understand how things work more. You know, there's so much knowledge in books. You know, I'm a huge advocate of like reading. And then most opportunities are missed by people because they don't even realize they are an opportunity. They just go straight past them. And so like, if you have more knowledge,
you can do about that either.
Right. Well, the thing you can do about it, here's the thing.
But I mean, you trying to advise them, I mean, like by the time you said, oh, look at what you could have won, the chance has already gone.
Yeah, it's already gone. And the only thing you can do is invest in your own knowledge, invest in yourself, like whatever that might be, whether it be health and fitness, that's an investment. Knowledge is an investment. Getting around the right people is an investment. And then what happens is you only need to like, if that's the equation for success of like, it's, you know, opportunities and preparation for those opportunities. It's like, all you've got to do in life, literally all you have to do if you want to be successful in anything, is create more opportunities in that area and be better prepared every time. And that's kind of what you're saying about the Andy Cole versus Shearer thing, is like, the reason why Andy Cole and Shearer maybe looked on a par when it came to the Premier League, you know, one at Blackburn or Newcastle and the other obviously at United, was because Alan Shearer was maybe getting 100 chances a season and scoring 50 goals, whereas like Andy Cole was getting like 500 chances a season or whatever, you know, 250 chances a season, and they were both scoring 50 goals, right? So on paper, it's like, yeah, they're both scoring 50 goals. But when it came to England, let's say, that the Glenn Hoddle or whoever was managing, he knew there wasn't going to be 250 chances. There was only going to be 100. So who do you want on your team then? And that's the person who's more prepared to take the lesser chances, essentially. And so that's where Shearer was able to step up, and, you know, and get the spot. And that's kind of what it is like, you might be in an industry or a niche or something that you're like pursuing, and there are only so many chances. Imagine Jim Rohn talks about this all the time. Imagine your chances only come in springtime. Then you live like 80 years. You're probably already 25 or more like now. So you've literally got like 50 chances left. So if you know that, like going back to the Andy Cole, Alan Shearer perspective, if you want to score as many times as you can and there's only 50 chances left, then you do whatever you take preparation like wise. You're always learning, you're always meeting new people, you're always doing these things. So when the opportunity comes along, you can, one, see that it is an opportunity, and two, you have the skills, the knowledge, you've learned the Spanish to take it. You know what I mean?
I think the other thing as well on that one is playing the long game, and patience is power, right? So I have a phrase, never have a zero, right? If you've got a goal for something, never have a zero, never have a day where you don't do something that day to take you towards your goal. So if your goal is to drop 5 kgs in body fat, never, and I'm not saying every day you're going to have like an incredible workout where you put in the burpees in and you're on the assault bike and you're throwing the dumbbells around, but never have a zero. Like, make sure you have a day where you know, if you are tired, you go, well, you know what? I'm just going to go for a 30-minute walk. right? That's maybe a 1 out of 10, but you didn't have a 0, because that 0 is like a disease. It'll lead to another 0 and another 0 and another 0. And with the analogy you're using there about me with like Spanish, at the minute, sometimes I've had good lessons and I'm like, brilliant. My tutor has figured out how to teach me better now, like actually teach me like a toddler, because I've got a baby brain. I've definitely got, she says like, you definitely have attention deficit disorder. You don't have overactive disorder, but because you're not hyperactive, but you've definitely, and I've known it anyway, I've got attention deficit disorder because I find it hard to concentrate on things. My mind wanders very, very quickly. But there's this thing called Duolingo, which is more like a game for kids. And you go through it and you type things and it's like little characters. And I was on it for 20 minutes. 20 minutes went like that. Right. Whereas the way that she'd been trying to get me to learn has literally been writing lines like at school. And it triggers me to remember all this bullshit that we used to do at school, where you're like writing shit down that you were never going to use. So all the stuff that I'm learning now is, this week's been a bit of a breakthrough. Now, if I'd have just kept having 0s in the past, when it wasn't really working for me, I've been doing it a month now, I would eventually quit. It would have been, that was a 0, I didn't do Spanish. That was a 0, I didn't do Spanish. That was a 0, I didn't do Spanish. Because I know about this rule, never have a 0, the compound effect, I've been having a 20-minute, 30-minute lesson every single day, pretty much. Give the odd couple of days that I've missed, like yesterday. And those little things add up. So even if that opportunity of the job came and it said, speak Spanish, and I wasn't amazing at it, there may be a chance that I could go, look, I've actually been learning Spanish. I'm not perfect, but you know what? I'm willing to step up. There's a half a chance that I may have got the time and energy in just by doing a little bit. And there's a guy in our business who's absolutely killing it at the minute. I can't remember whether I mentioned this story last week. There's another guy that quit at the same time 4 years ago. He went off and got a degree and did his thing and all this. The other guy didn't quit, stuck with it. And he's like one position away from hitting the top position in the marketing plan. And he's completely changed his life. The other guy gave up. The other guy just kept going, never having a 0, doing something every single day, just something. And some days in that week, you might have a 10 out of 10 day.
Yeah, you still might have a phenomenal day. Yeah,
exactly. I look at my weeks that I've had this year, and I would say every day out of the week, I've probably had an average, probably 8 out of 10. If you scored all the days, I've probably had an 8 out of 10 day. I've not had a single 0 for sure. I've had a lot of 10 out of 10 days. I've probably averaged about 3 10 out of 10 days per week. But if you scored me now on, if you said 10's the top, what's your average from the beginning of the year to now? I would say I'd be a good 8 out of 10 in terms of mindset stuff and personal development, in terms of health, and in terms of business. So this is definitely the most productive I've ever been. And it's putting those philosophies, like when I'm learning Spanish, because I know all this shit from personal development and my experiences of the past, it's like, do you want to do an hour a week? No, I don't want to do an hour a week. Do you want to do 2 hours a week? No, I don't want to do 2 hours a week. Well, how do you want to do your lessons then? I want to do 30 minutes a day every day, so I never have a 0. Right, okay, no one really does it that way because they don't probably know personal development and compounding.
Right, yeah.
You do. So it's like with you, if you got into golf, right? If you just do the Tiger Woods thing, Dad, why have I got to hit 1,000 golf balls a night? Or whatever it was. What was the thing that his dad said?
Yeah, no, it was something like that, 1,000 golf balls a night, and it was just because nobody else will be doing that.
Yeah, and that's it. The same thing, 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day.
And also, like, a similar analogy using the football one is like, I remember the team that is most prominent in my mind, because I guess I was a bit older, was in around about 2009, 2010, Chelsea were like winning everything. It was Jose Mourinho days, and like they had cash and everything, and like what they used to do is you would look at the end of the season and be like, yeah, wow, like Liverpool did sort of last season, like they were miles ahead. But if you looked at the results, there were so many like Tuesday night 1-0 wins where they played terrible, but they still got the 3 point. They just got that one. They just got 1-0. You know what I mean? Like, as in, and that's what champions do, is that even on their worst days, they still push through and like get the result that they, you know, that they sort of need. And that's kind of similar to what you're saying about
Wednesday nights down in, you know, Wednesday night away at Burnley, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's it. And it's an interesting topic for sure.
You're in your office Saturday morning, you're in your office, you message me and like, yeah, no worries, I'm in my office all day. Like, that is probably one of them days today.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, so we're in a fortunate position that we're sort of growing, like, as in that business is going reasonably well with this coronavirus because a lot of people want to go online. So we're bringing in new employees, and we're fortunate that the office is big enough for social distancing. So most people are at home still, but with new employees, I like to bring them in and, you know, obviously talk to them face to face and give them training and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of like prepping for that. So it's like, and then just a load of other things. And here's the thing. The reason I like having an office and not just working from home, because I love working from home as well, is like there's no distractions here. Like, I'm here on a Saturday morning. This is a building that's got like, I don't know, like 50 businesses in it. I don't know, something like that. There was maybe 3 people in the car park. Now, it is coronavirus time, so there's probably less anyway. But even on a normal Saturday morning. Yeah, well, that is what it's called, isn't it?
Like Christmas time.
But yeah. If you got your coronavirus presents. But no, it's like
mask.
yeah. But it's similar. I guess I never considered it as being like just get a 1 out of 10 as a minimum. But like, if you just show up, like if I just turn up to the office, even if I don't know what I'm going to do, I know that I'm going to achieve something. Now, I don't really ever try and turn up to anywhere without a plan of like what I'm trying to achieve. But on the off chance that happens, then I'm still getting a minimum of a 1 out of 10. I'm still here thinking about the business. I haven't got distractions. There's no TV, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's like, it's just, I've just read about it so much, seen about it so much. That's what champions do. That like, when no one's looking, what are you doing? Like, every day. It's not about doing it once and doing it fancy and posting it on social. It's like, what are you doing every single day that isn't just the tip of the iceberg? It's everything underneath. We've used a load of analogies here that have been similar because you already started with Titanic and I've kind of come back to it. Also, Jack, the Leonardo DiCaprio character, he like falls off a door, not an iceberg. They hit an iceberg like hours before.
Isn't he lay on an iceberg and just...
You'll have to go rewatch it, mate. You're
with the door.
Well, obviously I guess the whole ship is crumbling and falling apart. So like there are bits floating in the ocean. Anyway.
There you go. Let's wrap it up because I've got to go and move apartments.
Yeah, so you go and move apartments, get your phone sorted, and we'll chat again next week, laddo.
Nice one, brother.
The Extra 10% Podcast. Remember to like the John and Mark Facebook page on Facebook or visit johnandmark.co.uk for exclusive updates and content. Why not share this podcast with a friend and help them get paid tomorrow for what they do today?